I wasn't the best talent, the best long jumper, the best 100-meter runner, but I had the mind. It didn't bother me. 68,000 people, one person. It didn't affect me as a person at all, because I have created this vacuum where I could do what I should do at that moment. And that vacuum is what other people have to create.
Welcome to the FitZen Project. The world teaches you to hustle harder, and I'm here to help you stop outsourcing yourself and start leading from within. I'm Rachel Fitzpatrick, and around here, alignment is the new hustle, because you are your most important project. Hey guys, real quick, I want to pause for a second and share something with you. If you're enjoying these conversations, I'd love to invite you a little deeper into the FitZen community. Every week, I send an email that's a little different than the podcast, and it's where I get to share my personal stories, behind the scenes thoughts, and the lessons I'm learning in real time. And if that sounds like your kind of thing, you can join through the link in the show notes. You'll also find links to a few companies that I'm genuinely proud to partner with. For one, Lotus and Luna, they create beautiful, ethically made products that remind us to slow down and live intentionally. Lifeform is the yoga mat I personally practice with everywhere I go. I have a travel mat, I have a regular mat, and if you've ever wondered what mat I'm using, that's it. And Rage Create. It's become a huge part of my creative process. They're helping me bring my own reflections to life, and they make incredible products for journaling, creativity, and personal growth. Every purchase through those links helps support the podcast and allows me to keep creating these conversations each week. So, all right, let's get back to today's episode. All right, Mikael Avatar, welcome to the FitZen Project. I'm happy to have you today.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm happy to be here. So excited for this.
Me too. So I was happy I got to meet with you and learn a little bit about you and your success. And I feel like you are such a wise person and meant to be here with the FitZen Project in this community. I'd love for you to go ahead and introduce yourself and where you've been and what got you here.
Well, I was born in Sweden a long time ago with cerebral palsy. I was dead. So that's a limitation. Most people think, but I have never thought about it that much. I just put my goals and get on with my life, whatever I wanted to achieve. I ended up in Thailand. We'll probably come into that. I had a sports career behind me. I think in August now it's 30 years. I broke the world record at Paralympic 1996 in Atlanta, USA. Yeah, and I ended up teaching, following people through their life, and they choose how they choose their way of living. And that's my passion number one, and have been for my life.
I love that. Wow. There's so many things that we could touch on with what you just said and opened up with. And I have every intention on getting into the majority of that. So I want to start with the first thing first. And obviously noticing that there is a thing that you overcame, and that's your cerebral palsy. And that's your first thing that you were handed in life. Right? So you have this diagnosis. This is part of who you are. And then You said 30 years ago, this is a centennial year for celebrating your Olympic world record. And then on top of that, you've moved to Thailand, and now you're here wanting to teach and follow people how to really find that fulfillment in life, right?
Yeah.
So take us to the beginning of this. You have cerebral palsy, how you then overcame with that to come into being an Olympic world medalist.
Well, when you're born without oxygen for 30 seconds, 1 minute, I think the limit is 3 to 5 minutes. Then you get a diagnosis called cerebral palsy, and it ends up that if I hold up my hands, you only listen. I can't stop shaking them. So it affects my muscle, nervous system, or whatever. I was born 45 minutes without oxygen. You can think that's very hard, but you can also think that I needed longer time to think, should I really be on this planet, this crazy world? So it was like a thinking 45 minutes. And if you put it in that perspective, then you have a different angle and you live a different life. And that's what I have done. I have changed my thoughts to a new direction, like going to the Olympic, like going to Thailand. It's a mind switch, and that's what I'm passionate about. I want people to have the possibility to see their life from a different angle. And it means you will act differently in your life.
Wow. Absolutely. You're talking on so many of the topics that I love to just dive into. First of all, being the mindset piece and how absolutely imperative it is to really, when you have this mindset, you can totally control your outcomes. And you have made this shift in perspective. Was it always like that for you, or did something happen to where you needed to kind of recognize this is where I'm at and I can look at it differently, or I can stay in the same pattern and be in this triangle? What happened to get you there?
I think it's a very complex questions because I have thought about it since I'm coaching people, following people. What is the key to all this stuff? Why does it work for me? Why doesn't people do like me? I think one of the things I always saw possibilities. I always had big goals. One
Yeah.
of the goals setting was so far from the people around me, so they didn't say anything. They were too crazy. For example, I had my hands, I couldn't open them. When I was 4 years old, I ran into my mother and told her, I'm going to be a mountain climber. I'm going to be a rock climber. And she told me, but you can't make money on that. But she was so wrong, because I became a climber instructor, and that you can make money on 20 years later. But the goal was so abstract that people didn't confront me. When I said I want to go to the Olympic, I didn't know that Paralympic existed. I trained 10 years for the normal Olympic. And then somebody told me there is this thing called Paralympic. Then I knew I was going to the Paralympic. So I have had this mindset all my life. I put up a goal and I go for the goal and see what's happening. I'm like that. I have always been like that.
Wow. I mean, talk about a real living embodiment of possibility and not letting anything literally stand in your way. So it feels to me like this is just a perfect example of like a self-alignment. Did you ever have the thoughts or the I guess it would be more about the thoughts that said, "Oh, I can't do this." Was there ever moments where you were just like, "Maybe I'm in over my head," or anything of that nature?
I think it was there all the time. But since my goal setting was beyond that, I didn't stop. Okay, let's figure out the next step. How do I go around this obstacle or take it away? So if I have a weak goal setting, I can't overcome the obstacles. But with a bigger goal, you don't even see the small ones. So I think that I have lived my life with the goal setting very far ahead. And then just went for the goal. I would probably give other example in this interview you don't need to move to Thailand or break a world record. You can do small stuff too. But
Yeah.
it's the goal setting that starts the adventure, and the road is the adventure. The goal is not the goal, the life. It's the adventure on the way to reach the goal. And I
Yeah.
always loved the adventure. And most, 99% of the time, the adventure is in my life, in my world. It's like me developing this new world of where anything can happen.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I feel that in my bones that you literally create your world. No matter if it's you, Michael Avatar, or me, Rachel Fitzpatrick, we create our worlds through the belief systems of our possibilities. And I feel like you get that, and you've gotten that since the 45 minutes you decided, am I going to be here or not? You know?
Yeah.
And when you made it through and you realize like this is my creation, and you took this radical responsibility from the age of 4 and moved through this your whole entire life. What happens when you reach that goal? Like, I feel like the Olympics, to be in the Olympics, you said it took you trained for 10 years without knowing there's a Paralympics, but then when you got to the Paralympics and you succeeded, how did that feel?
This is double because I was a long jumper, and a long jumper, it's 6 seconds. It takes 6 seconds to break the world record. That's it. But it's around 15,000 hours of training for 6 seconds. It was 68,000 people in the arena when I broke the world record. And I had 6 seconds. And the the magic that I thought would happen, the sparkling there when I come back to Sweden, it wasn't there. And I know why today, but then I didn't know because I thought I was good for the rest of my life. But I felt this kind of emptiness. And most people I work with, they have good success. They have the money, they have the car, they have all this, but it's something missing somewhere. And one of the things that was missing was, what do I do now? When
Yeah.
I've done that, what's the next chapter in my life? And I didn't have that. So I was looking for something that I had no experience of. So I can feel the joy. I can feel when I meet people, world record, that opens doors everywhere. King's dinner or whatever. But was it worth it? And I can say yes. Would I have done it today? Probably not. But those 6 seconds, they were worth it. Because with those seconds, I get the attention. I can do podcast. I can get people's attention because I have done those 6 seconds. That's, you understand, it's very
Yeah.
complex.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, those 6 seconds are it's the door opener
Yeah,
to being able to spread the real message behind here of what you're saying. I mean, you're saying can have the king's dinner, you could have all the attention in the world, and then what do you do with it, and how do you become a steward of that? And
yeah,
then what does that look like for you?
yeah. So what I felt in the moment, I was so focused, I have no idea. Because you're really in ego trip state of mind.
Yeah.
I mean, the most craziest room. I was in the final of 100 meter, and really to be in the final at the Olympic in 100 meter, it's the hardest thing you can ever do as a sportsman. No matter football, swimming, ice hockey, but to be in 100 meter final, that's like the most craziest thing you can do. And to be in the core room before you go out to the arena, the more ego tripped people I have never met anywhere. but if you don't have that there, you can't survive. They will eat you up.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, at one point, your ego there, and it gets in the way of most everything, but also it protects you for being able to handle certain situations that are big. Like, that's a big event. That's a massive to the nervous system. And
Yeah,
and your ego, like, yeah, I'm here. I'm supposed to be here. This is exactly how it's supposed
and the thing is, I wasn't the best talent, the best long jumper, the best 100-meter runner, but I had the mind. It didn't bother me. 68,000 people, one person can. It didn't affect me as a person at all because I have created this vacuum where I could do what I should do at that moment. And that vacuum is what other people have to create. How many minutes a day do you have for you, only you, so you can reset your body or whatever you need to do to conquer your world and how you see your world? This was a master of conquering my world. The world record or other stuff I do too, but it's a mindset. I'm 100% sure. 5% talent. Maybe you don't have the talent, but it doesn't matter. If you are talent and you train 25%, that's 30. But if you have no talent and you train 45%, then you are 15% more than the people who has talent. And that is in any field.
My gosh, yeah.
Doctor, performance artist, conductor
All
on
of
the
it.
train. It applies every way.
It really does. And I feel like with people like, I would say I'm part of a high mindset and achieving. I feel like if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. I've always been that way. Like I've always been like, if this is what I want to do, it's going to happen. It's going to happen for me no matter what. So, but that's me. And I feel like that's you as well. But what I also see is I kind of feel like that about everyone I meet and how they should be in this and why it's almost frustrating when I'm seeing people and they're not participating in this same mindset. And then I have to think about it like they're not my life, that we're not
Yeah.
living the same life. And maybe
Yeah.
that's not what we want. Or if it is, how do you coach people to get to that?
Attraction. I think
Attraction.
attraction. Because the people who are driven, have goals, have done something, you can see it in their eye. And people are curious. What do you do that I don't do? And when they ask that question, then you have to grab them. But if they don't ask, you can't push it to them. So it's the attraction. And the attraction from their comfort zone, where they are in their world, and they see, what do he do or she do that I don't do? One of the best message I got when I moved to Thailand. I mean, I lived in Europe, Sweden, and yes, moved to Thailand, different continent, different culture. And there was this person write me an email, only one sentence. Oh shit, I have to start doing something. Because the person understood the attraction that I was going for the goal. I was going to succeed my life. And the person understood that. So you have 20 people around you that you affect every day. It doesn't matter what you do. If you do something, you affect them. If you don't do something, you affect them. But if I do something, then they have the choice to do something too. That's attraction. Was it a complicated answer?
It was a great answer, and the fact that you could completely come up with it right then and there was pretty awesome. I was like, wow, okay. So tell me about this move to Thailand. I mean, you've mentioned you lived in Sweden. You won the Olympics with Sweden. Then you moved to Thailand. Why?
If I put up my hand again, you can see them shaking. If you shake every day for 40 years, you get pain, muscle cramp. Really, you get pain. And I had, the winter was very bad. A lot of humidity, so I couldn't put on my socks. Friend of mine told me, you can borrow my house in Thailand. So I came to Thailand, and after 5 days, I had no pain.
Really?
Because the humidity and the warm weather combined made that my body, I didn't cramp. I didn't have pain. So I said, I wonder, what is this? So I was here 3 weeks, came back to Sweden in spring. It's kind of warm, but not warm. And after 3-4 days, I had the same pain. So I said to myself, why should I live in a country with pain when I can live in a country without pain? So 3 months later, I just moved to Thailand.
Wow. Wow.
Start over here. Why shouldn't
Yeah,
I?
yeah, that's the real question is why would you want
It's obvious.
Yeah,
And, and,
absolutely.
and that's also part of why people get stuck in life. They don't act. Most people, they know what they need to do, but they push it further tomorrow, next week,
Yeah.
next month. They don't act on it. If I had waited 2 more years, I had never ended up in Thailand. But I had waited 3 months, and then I just moved because I knew my mind don't remember the pain-free body in half a year or 1 year. So just go for it.
Absolutely. Eh, But like, what is it that holds people up so often on not doing what they know they should do? So you said it. I think we all know. And I mean, even a teenager knows everything in the world, like there's no one on the planet smarter than my 15-year-old nephew. Okay.
Yeah,
But you know all of the things. However, your actions, how do you make those two match?
yeah, but think about it. When he was 2 years, he knew exactly what he wanted, and you had to give it to him, because if you didn't, he was screaming at you. So
Right.
he was more convinced at 2 years old than 15. But that's
There's
the
no
problem.
difference.
But the difference is that we get bombarded with information. We get bombarded with choose this way, go that way, or he did that, or whatever. But I took my road and I never left it.
Wow.
Because I had so much passion for running, jumping. I mean, I went up 4 o'clock in the morning, completely dark. I went up. Sometimes the moon was shining, big snow coming down, totally quiet, nobody outside. Did my running half an hour, 1 hour, came home, had a shower, and went to school. That was a normal day for me for 10, 20 years, because it was my passion. One clue, if you do something and you don't have that smile, that tingling in your stomach, or whatever it is, you can't conquer the obstacles that you meet. But if you have that passion, driven, whatever it is, you will figure it out. So when I was very young, I told people you have two goals in your life. I mean, I was only 7 when I told people this. 7, 8 years old, find your passion. Then number 2, do that rest of your life. Simple.
Yeah.
And I still believe that because the driven you, the tingling, the smile, the happiness, it shines on people. But when you're 15 or 20 or 30, you have tested so much, but you have probably tested the wrong thing that don't get you this passion, this whatever adage you can choose to describe. Because when you
Yeah.
have that, then you create a different life. And then you take the steps. Then you do what you are supposed to do.
What does passion look like for you? I mean, I know it's running, but like, what is that feeling you get?
When I have succeeded with something, figure out some stuff in my world. The best story to describe this, it took me a long time to figure out. And I didn't tell anybody that I have done it. Maybe 3, 4 years later, I told people. There was this cat outside our house, a wild cat. And as soon as you opened the door, the cat ran away. And I thought, wow, I want to have that cat sitting on my lap. So every time I went out to the kitchen, the cat was there. So every time it takes 5 seconds. I had to figure out a way to get him on my lap. And no, it was a struggle. But I was so on to achieve this. After 5, 6 months, we're talking 5, 6 months, it didn't run away, but it didn't go closer. And I think 7 or 8 or 9 months, it was voluntarily sitting on my lap. My girlfriend at that time told me, how do you do that? How do you do that? But it was and the success when it did it, it was magical. I mean, it was, wow. You understand? But it was me practicing me to conquer something. And the adventure, how do I fool this cat? Or how do all this thinking around this. And that's my passion. So I try to push myself in all forms of activity to conquer whatever I want to do with a clear goal. You understand what I mean? It's a crazy story.
Yeah. But it makes sense. It's got a moral, right? There's a whole entire moral to that story, and it makes perfect sense to me. So it's got to with other people. I don't care. Some people may be confused. But I feel like with that, you are using that attraction and an energy that I feel like has to go hand in hand with this passion to be able to say, yeah, I did it, or moving forward, leading through that journey,
Yeah.
your adventure.
And for example, with the cat, what did I learn with that? How can I use that knowledge in my life? Yeah. Today, when I go out walking or exercise, there is wild dogs everywhere in Thailand. But I can just switch to the cat mode and they go away. They let me be. They don't even get close to me because it's like I have learned how to connect and not connect. So
Wow.
I can use that, but I didn't know that when I did that. But now I know I can use it in another situation. So whatever you train yourself in, you have to convert it to another place. That's
Oh,
one
yeah.
thing. The other thing, that's the quickest learning curve, is that if I learn something and open some doors, or see my world differently, if I try to learn that to another person that can learn it to a third person, then I keep it. Then, because if I can transfer my thoughts, my way of seeing to another person, and they connect and can use it, or even teach a third person, that's magic. That's the real magic.
Yeah, it is. That, I mean, I feel like that right now, with this conversation and how it ripple effects. And that is exactly what you said. It is magical. And there's a piece of what you said too that I incorporate with my own yoga practice of, you can learn how to connect for me, on my mat. I learned that connection more intensely on my mat at a quick rate. And then I can take that and those lessons off of my mat and cause that ripple effect even further as to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like to even more validate everything you just had said. With that too, I feel like there is a spiritual component to you. And I would love to learn what that looks like when you are working in this magic that you have.
Some of it is trained. I have trained myself because people, when they see me first time, they don't know me. First 5 minutes, they feel sorry for me. That's the normal reaction that the society have teach you to see me. That's not wrong, not right. It's a fact. After 15 minutes, something happens. Why? Wow, he's saying something clever. After 30, 40 minutes, they have forgot I have cerebral palsy. That's magic. But I have teach myself how do I start conversations so they don't feel sorry for me. What should I say to get that magic, to get that flow, that whatever. So it's awareness from my side. If they connect to that, then you have like a flow. And then they are open, I am open, and then you can end up anywhere. But I have practiced. Or I can stand in the middle of the city. I'm bored or something have to happen. I take a deep breath and okay, let's go to the left. And then I just follow this, whatever it is. I can't put the finger on it. I can't describe it. And I always end up where I should end up. Always. I have so many stories. I had this, she was in that country where she comes from. She was very spiritual, very famous, good at spiritual, whatever it was she was doing. And we needed a cable. So let's go and buy it. 4:00 in the afternoon, jump in my car, drive down to the town. There was a parking space outside the shop. We went in, no customer. I bought the cable. We went back to the car and back to my coaching studio at that time. And I turned off the key, and she was so shocked. Now I know what you are doing that I can't do. What? You can drive a car in rush hour with green lights everywhere, parking outside the shop, and a green light all the way back to the studio. I was born in this city. It have never happened to me. You understand what I'm talking about? It's the flow. It's now these seconds I have to do this, and you just do it. If you wait 30 seconds, it's gone. And so I have trained myself to know now it's time. And I don't think I just act because I knew, I know this is the moment. And I don't expect anything, but I know this is important. I don't
Wow.
know if this answers your question, but it explains what you wanted to hear, I think.
Yeah. Your total seize of opportunity. And I feel like, yes, you had this woman who was super spiritual and perhaps she had to think about it. Whereas you are innately divined timing. Like you move with a partnership of spirit and knowing and going versus conversing and thinking about that partnership with spirit and then perhaps moving from that place.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
it makes sense, but you can have the same result. But the difference is I'm free. She was not.
Wow.
You
Yeah.
understand the difference. I was free because if you're free, you can do this stuff. But if you're not free, you have to think, oh, there will be a red light there. But I didn't think that. I just
Yeah.
acted.
Wow. This is such a special conversation. Like I just love so many things that you have said and you've brought into this awareness. Like there's so much here in this space that I feel like we could have another podcast just talking about more things. You know?
Yeah, I understand, but I love people. I love people's missions, people's awareness, where people are in life and how they can, with small tweaks, change everything. So my specialty is to, how do I explain concrete to go from here to there? Sure, I have my own experience, but I have met a lot of people. I have done this for decades. And now I can really explain. It doesn't matter if you're a CEO to child's mom, whatever you are, I can from their world explain how they can open their eye, see a different way that they didn't see last week.
Yeah.
And that's the magic. But I'm called to discover this. That's my passion, to find these concrete things. That's why I train myself to get this cat on my lap. Because if I can get the cat on the lap, then I can get other people to act too. Because I'm aware of what they are doing.
Yeah. And that's your passion. And I feel like it had to start with yourself. And you had to make all of these goals and all of these actions and achieve them.
Yeah.
And that's your repertoire. That's like your resume. Like that's exactly what into this specialty is you were able to do this for yourself,
Yeah.
how to help the others in this direction.
So, and I have so many other, now we have talked very diffuse things, but I can give you concrete things too. Podcasting, why am I doing podcasting? Where did it start? It started 12, 15 years ago because I was afraid of the camera. And I didn't speak good enough English, I thought. And I have cerebral palsy and my words are not that clear. So I practice in front of the camera. So I started with 30 days, one mood a week for 30 days. And then I thought, let's do 100. So I did 100 for practice. They are still on the internet. So I'm so proud because I have some of these movies nobody had watched. And some have a lot more. Next year, I did live streaming 100 days in a row. It was because I wanted to practice. Because you have to act differently in clearly specific topics and so on. So I learned how to express myself. So now, 10, 15 years later, podcast came in. So I think I have done maybe 2022, but of course I will do 100. And the key to this is if I can do this, you can do it too. If I with cerebral palsy can do what I'm doing, what's your excuse? What's the listener of this pod? So I just want to wake up people. You have to have the passion, yes, but you have to do the work too and confront you, because it was outside my comfort zone to be in front of the camera. But now I'm comfortable being in front of the camera.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And just to reflect that back to you, I mean, you've practiced and practiced, and you, to me, are natural. Like, this is just, and I've only been doing this for a year myself, and a little bit over a year, maybe. I don't know. But I just started video perhaps like 6 months or so ago, maybe a little bit longer. But it is kind of scary. And it is just like, oh, how many trolls out there are going to comment on how round my face is or whatever, like it doesn't. And then at the end of the day, you can't let it bother you. It doesn't matter. And you just continue to move forward with the action because this right here, this conversation is worth all of that. Like,
Yeah,
this is why. I mean,
this
it's
is it.
so worth
This
this.
is it. This is
Yeah. Let's wake it up.
yeah.
Let's challenge the
Well,
fear.
I have been on some really famous podcasts and did excellent work there. I even got, I don't even know if you know who Jim Beach is. He's an entrepreneur. He had his radio show and I got 100 of 100 possible points at his quest. And I was the first one who scored 100 on his 10 questions. But what did I get of that compared to what I get speaking to you? I'm more like you. This is much more value. It was fun to do. Sure, he was impressed. It was great, but
Yeah.
this is more value. You understand what I mean? So where do I
Yes.
want to spend my time? I want to
Yeah.
spend my time where I smile, where I'm not nervous, where I can say whatever I want, and I know I can back up whatever I said with a story, concrete, explaining step by step. Then I'm relaxed.
Yeah. This feels to me like quality. That's what it
Quality,
feels
yeah,
like to me, you know? So,
yeah.
I'm so happy about this conversation. I feel like I've learned a whole lot just from being in this space with you, and I appreciate your time and energy and everything you've put into being here with us today. I really appreciate that. Is there
I had so much fun, and your questions and your to freak out a bit, but to be concrete. And I love explaining. I really spent a lot of time figuring out how do I explain all these complicated things simple so anybody can understand.
Yeah.
Not everybody will listen to it, but everybody can understand.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Is there anything like if we want to get in contact with you, how would we follow you? How can the listeners approach you?
My name, Mikael Avatar, Michael with a K. I have a website, michaelavatar.com, but you can search me, Facebook, whatever. I think I'm Facebook, Instagram. So you can find me. I have some books you can download, the apps that you can find on my website and whatever. Sometimes I put things out every day for some month. Sometimes I don't put out anything. I go
Me
with
too.
the flow.
Sometimes I'm like, yeah, every single day. And then I will go months just like ghosting the internet. And I love it. I don't even care.
Yeah, because this algorithm, maybe it works, maybe it don't work. I don't, I don't care because I will not reach all the people in the world. I will reach the people I should reach. That's it.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't
it.
need to think more than that. That's enough. But I have to do my parts. So I need people like you, so I don't forget my purpose and all this stuff that I'm thinking about to get the message out. It's a calling or whatever I should call it.
Yeah. I love it. It's a good one. You chose a good one. So, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for spreading your knowledge, your experiences, and they are treasures. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So,
If there's one thing I'm taking away from today's conversation, it's this. Most of us aren't stuck because we don't know what to do. We're stuck because we haven't acted on what we already know. And Michael didn't wait until he had certainty before training for the Olympics, or until someone gave him permission to move halfway across the country, or the world even. And he didn't wait until he felt completely comfortable in front of a camera before he started speaking. You know what he did? He just simply took the next step, and the one after that. I think one of the best quotes that I can get from him is, "Why should I live in a country with pain when I can live in a country without pain?" Because maybe for you, that's not about moving across the world, but it's having that difficult conversation, or changing careers, or taking better care of your body. It's setting the boundary that you've been avoiding and starting something that you've been talking about for years. So really, the truth is your life changes the moment your actions begin matching what your heart has known all along. And that's it. So here's my challenge for you this week. What's one thing you already know you need to do? Not 5 things, just one thing. Write it down, and before this day ends, take one small action towards it. Because alignment isn't built in giant leaps. It's built in the tiny decisions we make every single day. And if this conversation resonated with you, I would love to hear what stood out. I'd love for you to share the episode for someone who's perhaps waiting for the quote-unquote right time to make a change. And if you haven't already subscribed, I hope you do, so you don't miss next week's conversation, and leave a little review just so someone else can see it too. So until next time, I want you to remember, you are your most important project. Take care of yourself, friend.